Welcome to the channel, guys. And today we're going to be briefly recapping some of the anime for the week of April 15th. Now, this is going to be anime that I watch specifically, so there might be some on here that you don't watch, and there'll definitely be a lot that you watch that aren't on here. So we're going to start with Berserk episode 15. I'll start off by saying I feel they've gotten a lot better with the 3D animation than in the first season. Things seem a bit more fluid than they did last season. It just overall seems a little bit more crisp and shiny. As for the actual episode itself, I liked it a lot. I like that they're not just focusing on Guts' character. This episode was essentially a foreman of the Power Rangers, of Griffith's Power Rangers, basically. You know, you got to see a lot of the guys that are going to be a part of his squad, a part of his team, what they're famous for, and what they can do, just coming together and pledging their loyalty to him. And you get to see him making moves not just with demonic type characters, but also a few humans that could be of benefit to him. The blonde chick, I forgot her name right now. She's a seer, and he has some use for that royal guy from the army as well. So I like the episode, and they did just enough of Guts also forming a squad. He took in Farnese and Serpico, and a big part of that was in the previous episode, in episode 14, he almost hurt Casca. Well, he hurt her, but he almost hurt her really bad. And I believe he realized that he's kind of losing control of himself a little bit, and having more people around will be sort of a barrier, kind of help him not get to that point again. So I think that was a big part of the reason that he didn't say they could join, but he didn't say they couldn't join as well. So that was good to see him kind of forming his own little team there, while Griffith is building this monstrous team. So overall, I think it was a good episode. It was a kind of a character building episode, but you still got some good action in there as well. You got to see some good fights. Alright, let's move on to Dragon Ball Super next. I don't think there's a lot to be said about this episode. This is episode 86. For the last few episodes, they've been going around gathering people for the tournament coming up. This week, Goku went looking for Android 17. He found him. He's living in an island. Well, he sometimes lives on the island. He works on an island as a ranger. He protects animals. Specifically, there's an endangered bull-type animal on there, a Taurus, that he's protecting from hunters. Goku finds him there. They spar for a bit. Now, this is where my issue came from in this episode. I know they're trying to say, okay, Android 17's been training. He's gotten stronger. And they're saying Goku was holding back in Super Saiyan Blue. But there's no way. I find it hard to believe that he'd be able to keep up with Goku and Super Saiyan Blue that easily, that effortlessly. By the end of the episode, we found out Goku possibly wasn't going 100%, but Goku also made the statement 17 wasn't going 100% either. I'd expect him to be somewhere around Super Saiyan 2, maybe Super Saiyan 3 strong. Super Saiyan God level, he looked pretty even with Goku. It felt like a stretch. I don't know if they're going to ever actually explain that, but it felt like a stretch to me. You know, he has a family going as well, just like Android 18 does, and I guarantee she's nowhere near to that power level. I kind of feel like they just gave him a get out of jail free card. Here, you're on the same level as most of the Saiyans, and I don't know how I feel about that. You guys let me know how you feel about that in the comments down below. So, besides that, it was an okay episode, you know. Wasn't as much comedy as I'd like or anything like that, but it was pretty good. It got the job done in what it was trying to do, which is they're gathering the team, and there's another potential member here. Now it is worth noting he did turn down Goku's offer for the 10 million zeni or whatever Goku offered him. Goku ended up having to tell him the truth about the tournament, and he still seemed a bit disinterested. So we'll see how this pans out, how this plays out. Alright, let's move on to Attack on Titan. And this week was kind of a slow build episode. It was episode 28, Southwestward. And this one was a bit of a slow build. I liked the episode personally. I saw a few people commenting in the comments on Crunchyroll that they're dragging out 5 minute plots to last 20 minutes, but I think this is the way it kind of has to be done, and it's always been this way in Attack on Titan. For the village where all the houses were smashed in, and this is all spoilers by the way, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, you shouldn't watch this video. All the houses were smashed in, there was no blood, and there was no sign of anyone. No horses were missing. I haven't read the manga up until this point. I pretty much stopped reading the manga where season 1 ended. It's possible that the Beast Titan turned the people in that village into Titans, and they broke out of the houses. And I'm pretty suspicious of that because the Titan that was laying on the ground was talking to them, was talking to what's his name? I forgot his name. But that's where my suspicion came from, and we've also seen that Titans, at least some of them, they're humans. They're transformed into Titans. So I think that could be what's going on here. We'll wait and see. As far as them heading for Eren's basement, I don't know when they're actually going to get there. And now they've come up with a strategy to try to get Eren to use the hardening ability of a Titan to help seal the wall. Of course, he's not sure if he can do it. He struggled with his first few transformations as is. So it's just something else he's going to have to try and get good at. But, you know, his character is flawed in that way. But I like that about his character. Yeah, he's loud and cocky or confident, just like most other characters, Naruto or whoever else you want to go for, main protagonist. But with Eren, I feel like he has to work a bit harder for it. You know, he's not just getting, even though he did get a transformation, he's just not getting a bunch of transformations to keep up and keep going. So I'm interested to see if or when he's going to figure that out, and very interested to see what's going on with this Beast Titan. He obviously has a plan that he's orchestrating and he's putting together, and I want to see where it goes from there. Let me know what you guys think of that episode in the comments below. And for the final one we're going to be talking about, it's My Hero Academia, and this was episode 16, In Their Own Quirky Ways. Now I saved this one for last because for me this was the best one out of all the shows I've talked about so far. This was probably the best one for me this week. Everything just came together so well. The action was good, the comedy was amazing, and just the feels, everything about this episode was so on point. Izuku won the race without using his quirk at all. He just used his knowledge of other people's abilities, and to an extent lucked out. He grabbed that armor piece from one of the tanks, and he just rode that. For all intents and purposes, he rode that to victory. You know, he used it in the landmine section to get ahead of Katsuki and Shoto. They were in first and second, fighting over who was going to win, and he took advantage of that situation. So that was really good for me. Two of the best parts, comedy-wise anyways, is when the tanks fell on everyone, and the guy with the hardened skin gets out, and he's like, if that was anyone else, they'd have died, and the commentator starts going how his skin can get really hard, and then the steel guy, which I believe he's from class 2 or class B or whatever, he comes out, and he essentially has the exact same ability. He comes up, he says the exact same thing, and the commentator makes the exact same comment for him as well. That had me laughing for a good 5 minutes. So that was pretty good. When they announced how much points each person was going to be worth going forward, and we found out first place was going to be worth 10 million points, that was the highlight of the episode for me. So next week or this week, we're gonna have everyone gunning for Izuku. It's gonna be interesting to see if he can get anyone on his team with that kind of bounty on his head. Other points that stood out for me was the business class, which is essentially worthless at this part of the tournament, and them explain that they have a lot of time because they have nothing to do there. That was pretty funny for me as well. And the guy with the little black balls attaching himself to that girl's back, coming in 18th and she came in 17th, saying he's a genius and she's telling him he's the worst. That was pretty good for me too. And seeing the blonde guy with the that shoots the lasers from his stomach barely making it in because only the top 42 made it in, him coming in 42nd, that was pretty good too. But if you guys watched this episode or you watched this show at all, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.